Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another GCSE revision video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my top tips on how to get a 9 or an A star in GCSE French, but if you do other subjects like Spanish or Irish or German, do not click off because these tips can be applied to any other language. I'm just going to be saying French throughout this video because I studied French at GCSE. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name's Radhika and I'm doing a GCSE revision series on my channel because students are returning to school after 5 months of doing nothing, and I want to help as many of you guys as I possibly can, and the best way to do that is through an online platform like YouTube. So if you don't want to miss any of these videos, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss a video. And also, if you like this video, it helps it go out to more people. Also, if you leave a comment down below saying what subject you want me to do next, I will happily do that. And because I don't like rambly intros, even though this intro is going to be kind of rambly, let's just get started. My first tip is simple and it can be done by anyone, and that is to watch French TV shows or French movies. So you're thinking, Radhika, why would I watch a movie or a TV show as part of my revision? That's not productive and that's not gonna help. But you're wrong, and here's why. So I'm about to get sidetracked for a minute, and don't click off because this is an important part. I'm Indian, okay? I mean, my accent, my name, that gives it all away. When I was younger, my mom and dad used to put on Hindi TV shows and Hindi movies, and I would learn the language without even realizing it. I slowly started to pick it up, and it was really good because I learned it faster than if I was reading a book in Hindi or trying to write Hindi. It worked. Just bottom line of the story, it worked. So I thought, why don't I apply this same logic to learning French? I went onto Netflix, I changed the audio for some of my favorite shows into French and would then watch them. Or if you want to do something easier, you want something that will take less time, what I would recommend doing is going into the kids section and then looking up French kids shows. Or if you go onto French Disney Channel, you could watch your favorite Disney Channel shows in French again, because kids shows are a gold mine for French or other language revision. They have colors, they have shapes, they have sizes, they have buildings. Literally everything that comes up in any French exam is there in the kids section. So do it, use that resource. If you don't have access to Netflix or Amazon Prime or Sky, then what I would recommend doing is going on YouTube and maybe looking up some French YouTubers and watching their videos. Or you could, I think you can change the audio of some YouTube videos or the subtitles. You can do that as well. That's a really good resource and it's free. So I think that would really help anyone trying to learn a language, because it would help with your listening, which could get you a good grade in the listening exam. My next tip also goes along the lines of entertainment, and that is to read books in French. Now again, you're thinking, Radhika, why would anyone want to read a book in French? I don't have time for that shit. And yes, I get you, but I'm not asking you to go out and find Oliver Twist in French and read it. No, I'm asking you to read kids books in French. I realize that doesn't make me sound any less crazy, but let me explain. You can go to the library and go to the kids section and look for books that you've heard of, but just look for them in French. For example, my French teacher at the back of her classroom had this rack, and on it there were loads and loads of books, but some of the books that I used to read whenever there's a cover teacher were like the kids books, like Little Miss or Mr. Men series, or Tintin is also in French, and they really did help me because they're so simple, but yet they're so effective for learning. You've got colors, you've got shapes, numbers, buildings, so much information that is packed into a 10-minute read. I wouldn't recommend doing this solely for revision. Obviously, you're going to have to learn the vocab, but I think it could really complement revision, and it's just a fun change. Sometimes you don't want to like sit down for hours looking at black and white. My brain responds well to color, so I think that could help other people too. Like I said previously in my first tip, kids books, kids resources are gold mines when it comes to GCSE revision. Yes, it sounds crazy, but trust me, it works. So if you've watched this video, you know how much I love the voice memos app. I love it. It's so good when it comes to learning things. Specifically, I used to use it to learn my oral answers. So this is super self-explanatory, and I don't want to bore you to death with how to use an iPhone, but all you gotta do is go to voice memos, click record, and then just record yourself saying the answers. This is so good. I used to do this before I went to bed, or sometimes when I was on the bus and the bus was stuck in traffic, which was pretty much every day. I was late to school literally every day last year, but it really did help me. Even when you were doing a workout, it is so good to hear yourself say those things because you were learning even though you're actually physically doing something else. I will literally be an advocate for voice memos till the day I die, but use it. It is such a good tool. And if you're an Android user, I'm sorry, I don't know an alternative. My next tip is to look for the answer which is the best answer, or the answer which makes the most sense. Let's say you got this question. This is a lot of text, okay? And that can overwhelm people in an exam situation. But number one, you gotta stay calm. And number two, you gotta look for the answer which you're certain is the correct answer. There could be 3 or 4 possible answers for this question. But if it's only worth a mark, I want to go for the answer which I know is the right answer. If you look at exam mark schemes for French or for other languages, usually there are like slashes, which means this answer, or this answer, or this answer. And a lot of people actually lose out on getting one of those answers because they just overcomplicate it and because they try to translate vocab that they can't actually translate. I guess what I'm trying to say is don't overcomplicate it. If you think logically when you're going through it, just look for the answer which you know is the correct answer. Oh my god, I just realized what I'm trying to say is don't deter and try to say something super flamboyant and fancy. Stick with the simple things. And finally, I'm going to be sharing with you my French writing tips, i.e. the tips I think will help you get maximum marks in the French writing exam. My first tip is to break down the translation questions. Usually you do get translation questions worth 1 or 2 marks, and let me tell you, those are the easiest questions to get marks in. The essay is where most people lose marks, but please, please, please do not skip the translation questions. Spend time on them because they're easy marks. The way I would help myself do the translation questions faster was to break it down. As you can see here, all I would do was draw lines between each of the words or small phrases, and that would help me translate it faster because I could see, okay, I am, je suis, small, petit, or like this one. You can see more lines, and that just helps you break it down for yourself. It's a really small tip, but it's so useful, and I think it definitely does work, so I would recommend doing that. Also, when it comes to writing the essay, tip number 1, stay within the word count. Do not try to go out of the word count range too much. Sometimes when you try to impress the examiner, you could actually get penalized for that. They give you the word count because they know that students start to make mistakes after they go beyond this, so please stay within that limit. While we're talking about writing the essay, another tip is to make sure that you actually bullet point each of your bullet points. As you can see in this question, there are 5 bullet points, which means there should be 5 small paragraphs. And basically what I'm trying to say is bullet point each of those paragraphs and space it out, because number 1, examiners will thank you, okay? They get so many pieces. They don't want to be reading a piece which is all over the place and which they can't identify. Okay, so this is for bullet point 2. Wait, is this for 3? Where's 5? They don't want to do that. So lay it out neatly, which means that they're more likely to actually want to read your answer. Another tip which I think is really useful for the writing exam is compiling a list of your best phrases or expressions, or as my teacher called them, wow expressions. This is so useful. I can't even explain how useful this is because you have a list of A-star points which are going to get you good marks. So use them, learn those off by heart, and I'm telling you, you will get good marks. There's no reason why you shouldn't. Learn different ways to start each paragraph. Instead of starting each paragraph with the same opening, try and vary your sentence endings. Also, another tip, examiners love expressions, so try to get at least 2 to 3 expressions in your piece, and you will definitely get good marks in your writing exam. So guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it was informative. Let me know down in the comments which subject you want me to do next. Finally, make sure to subscribe. I upload every Friday at 6. Also, the timestamps will be down in the description box below, so if you need to rewatch or skip parts, you can do so easily. I hope this video was useful, and I hope you get that A star or 9 in French because you deserve it. Bye!